So I've been involved with the sport of track and field in one way or another for the better part of 20 years now. And there are a few epiphanies I've had regarding the sport, especially involving sprinting and sprinting mechanics and how people sprint successfully. So we've all been taught basic form, technical cues like keeping your arms at 90 degrees, good knee lift, and those types of things. But there's concepts behind those cues that I think it's important as we enter the information age, or we're definitely in the information age, to take a step back at what the past has told us, what's been successful from the Carl Lewis era to the Tom Tellez, to the John Smith era, to the Bolt era with Glenn Mills. Let's take all these pillars of our sport and let's improve on it with the age of technology. The thing that I want to get across today, and I want you to really think about it when you look at film, when you look at everything, is how much we overuse or overcue the arms. And I want to keep it as simple as possible without delving into too much biomechanics. But the reality of it is our center is not our belly button. Our center is essentially where our belt buckle would be. And so when we're running, this, even though it looks pretty, 90 degrees, that doesn't move us in any way. It is an offset of what we do through our feet, you see? And actually, there's another secret hidden in that. Knee lift on its own does nothing for us. The easy proof of this is that if I had a step here and I wanted to step on that step, if I wanted to step on its step, lifting the opposite leg does not help me step on the step. I have to create force with this hip and this foot to step on that step. And then what I'm allowed to do, once I do that, I've cleared a path for this other knee to come up. But that is entirely dependent on what I do with this post leg. In the same way, what we do with our arms is merely a byproduct of what we do with our feet and our hips, how those two communicate. So when we're on the ground, when we touch down, our arm is not doing something independent of our hip and foot. Our arm is working off. You see how I'm creating force through the ground here? I'm creating force, creating force, creating force, creating force, and look what's happening. It's allowing the opposite knee to come up. Look at that. I'm still posted here on this left side. And what can I do when this is up? I can move this freely right here. And then when this is ready to cycle down, that comes down with it and comes right back there. There's a little bit of torso rotation, something we can delve into a little bit later. But I just want you to look at runners under fatigue. A great example is 200 meter and 400 meter runners. Watch the ones that aren't doing so well. You'll notice that there's a real imbalance in timing and sequencing between their upper and lower body. Great athletes like Noah Lyles, Carl Lewis, Usain Bolt was in really good shape. When you watch them finish at 200, you'll notice that they're a lot more in sync. Their arms are working off of their legs rather than their legs trying to work off their arms. The other extreme example would be watch football players run when they're training for the combine. You see them overuse their arms, and that you know that they're tanks upstairs, but are they really covering ground? Are they really moving to the proportion of their strength and their power? I'll let you be the judge of that, but usually the answer is no. The people that cover the most ground create the most force and move the best and the most fluidly and the most effectively and the most efficiently. Understand either consciously or unconsciously that your center is down here, you move through your feet and your hips, and whatever happens upstairs is a byproduct of it. For the old heads, one of the things that was always interesting to me was watching a 2006 race between Tyson Gay and Xavier Carter. Tyson Gay was, I believe, in lane 5, and Xavier Carter was out in lane 8 or 9, the furthest lane out. And Tyson Gay ran in 1970, and he blazed the turn, and he was using his arms in textbook fashion. And here comes Xavier Carter finishing on the home stretch, and he did not have pretty form, but what he did have was a body that was completely in sequence. His legs were moving, and his arms was a byproduct of that. And Xavier Carter won the race. Go check that race out. Check out what I'm saying, and do the tests that I said. Watch the good 200 meter and 400 meter runners. Watch the football players training for the combine, and see if I'm telling the truth. And if I am, maybe you should incorporate it into what you're doing. And if I'm not, come tell me about it. Let's talk about it. All right, thank you.